There is an excruciating sense of urgency. Everything has to happen immediately.
Fuck off my Xbox Jeff now!
You get your act together, boys, for f***'s sake.
Where's the lamb sauce?
There's a strict hierarchy. Technical terms, it's the brigade system, which is adopted from the military. So you have a general and you know who does what. You're not to think, you're just to do. And that happens with quite a lot of violent force.
Working in restaurants can be hell. The industry is increasingly under fire for its treatment of people, especially in fine dining. This scrutiny is forcing some of the best restaurants in the world to shut down.
One of the world's most successful and influential restaurants, Noma has been named the world's best restaurant 4 times in the past decade.
We went from zeros to heroes, just like that.
The decision behind closing down Noma was that it was no longer sustainable. But what does that mean? Already, 80% of restaurants don't survive the first 5 years. So is this the beginning of the end? Will restaurants and fine dining no longer exist? To get some answers, I decided to go to Copenhagen, the home of Noma and one of the gastronomical capitals of the world. As you enjoy the episode, make sure to subscribe to our channel.
I'm in Copenhagen!
It doesn't look like the spring brochures.
Let's talk about food. It's fucking freezing though. We're in downtown Copenhagen on a Saturday morning, but it's dead. But it really has like the Scandinavian aesthetic. You know the vibes. We are in Nørrebro, which is a bit further out than the city center, and I'm here to meet Lisa.
So Harry's place is a local spot. All kinds of people who get up early in the morning, a lot of physical labor. This is a place where they get their lunch.
How long has this place been around?
58 years.
58 years?
Yeah.
I describe myself as a former waiter and a work culture critic.
What got you into that?
Anger. I worked in the restaurant industry since I was 14. It wasn't until later in my 20s that I started realizing the cost of that way of living, of working. The health issues that started to kind of show their face, anxiety, depression. My opinion is that fine dining in its structure is unethical. It's a white supremacist structure of perfectionism, the sense of urgency. It's about exclusivity, which is the opposite of community. Let's be honest, it's for the 1%.
Yeah.
Like in Denmark, we might think, oh, but a lot of people could go, yeah, but we're also heavily a part of the 1%.
Yeah.
So many people here are very wealthy.
In the global 1%. In relation to the, yeah.
As a culinary hub, Copenhagen is filled with some of the best and innovative restaurants in the world. And some of them are taking it on themselves to do things differently and revolutionize a stagnating industry.
They see me rolling. They hating. Oh.
Joining me on my journey to find some answers is one of the kindest people I've ever met, Marie.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah.
She loves food and works on justice in our food systems.
It's a bike city.
It's a bike city.
And you need to be aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, wherever you go.
Yeah. What am I doing? This is so bad. Oh. Ooh. My guy. This is the dark side of sustainability. Hi again.
Hi.
How many highs has it been now?
Maybe 3,
3.
4,
Yeah.
5.
Why food?
Well, why not food? Food is delicious, food is tasty, it's feelings, it's identity, it's fun. It's also, unfortunately, a lot of horror.
So I'm about to go to Copenhagen to get some fine dining. Breaking news, the sun just came out in Copenhagen. Behind me is the fine dining restaurant we're going to try today called Lola, led by head chef Camilla.
Lola Restaurant is a special place here in Copenhagen because they are really working and trying to tackle the difficulties in running a fine dining restaurant, but also taking care of people. People thrive in the kitchen. So they are important role models, I would say.
My first concert as a 14-year-old, he was warming up for Backstreet Boys in Vega. You almost passed out? Oh my god!
How would you categorize the food you cook in this kitchen?
Worldly schizophrenic, I think.
Okay.
Mostly it's elements, it's not ever like a classic dish, which is why we like it. Because then people can't complain of, this is not like my mom.
And then we do a tomato, which is like seaweed and sesame and chilies on top, so it's a lot of different inspirations all over the world coming together in like one day.
I was telling Marie, this is definitely the chillest kitchen I've ever been in.
Yeah.
It's very...
I want a personal life. I don't have it that much, but I'm also the owner, so that's a decision I make. But I want the chefs and the front of house staff to have a life and just have a nice tone instead of being at each other's back and bullying each other. And
It's normal for other industries, but for the restaurant industry, it is on some level a radical departure from the norm.
yeah,
Why has that been the case?
it's been this competition of misery and endurance and how much can you take before you break, and if you break, oh my god, you're ridiculous. It becomes more important how the fish was treated, taken, hand carried from the sea to the plate. It doesn't matter if the person filleting it and frying it and so on has been working for 18 hours.
How is it as a woman, and a woman of Bolivian background, navigate a space that's usually dominated by white men?
Of course, it's difficult when you first get into the industry. You really have to develop a very thick skin very quickly. And there are a lot of women who are very talented who leave the industry because they don't really see a light in the end of the tunnel. I don't know if it's by luck or because I chose it that way, but I ended up working for a lot of head female chefs who are extremely talented and extremely strong women. That is something that's relatively new. I'm not going to say the last 5 years, but maybe like 10 or 15 years it's been coming. You know, I think it gives a lot of hope for there to be change in the industry, for maybe not only in terms of gender equality, but also in terms of what restaurants look like, what the values of those restaurants are, like how we approach our staff, how we talk to each other in the kitchen. There's a lot of toxicity that can come from either too much testosterone or too much estrogen, I think.
How do you make it accessible to people?
I'm not sure fine dining should be accessible. Teslas are not accessible to everybody. The whole point of having layers in society is that things are not, you know, it's not for everybody. And maybe that's okay if the price is paid. It's not the staff paying, it's not the restaurateur paying, it's the guest paying for the experience that they want. That's perfect. Then you pay the price, then you can have that experience. I'm not a communist.
That's a great line.
Today we're doing the ceviche with cod, coriander.
How is this? Oh wow. As a former food critic, how would you describe this?
This is sunshine, right?
It is sunshine. On a cloudy day.
Yeah.
You know what I wonder? How do they cycle in this cold? It's 0 degrees right now.
I left Lola with more big questions, like, are Danes human? Who can function in this cold? And how do we make ethical business models attainable to all kinds of restaurants, not just fine dining ones? Because there seems to be a fundamental conflict. If you want a sustainable business, treat people right, and pay them an ethical wage, you have to charge people a premium price. But does that mean ethical fine dining in restaurants can only be accessible to the wealthy? Aren't there any other models out there? And can my body handle any more of this cold?
It's snowing in the spring. Oh my god.
It's snowing today. Welcome to Copenhagen. Yeah, right now we are back in the meatpacking district and we are visiting Kitchen Collective.
So normally when you're here, there's a lot of people working here. We have 4 different stations.
We're so lucky today.
We have the collective for ourselves. We were the first one in Denmark, and I think also in Europe, to run shareable kitchens and have pushed the regularities of how different companies actually are able to share kitchens. I know a lot of people started here. I want a restaurant. I'm taught in this system. Of course I need a restaurant. That's the only right thing to do.
Compliments.
And then when I start talking with them, okay, what kind of life do you imagine? Do you want to have kids? Do you want to have a family? Do you want to just be able to have some free time now and then? And people start to think about this. They find it much more enjoyable to think about only having a restaurant maybe once a week. So yes, this is what we offer, this opportunity that people can actually experiment.
Hi, my name is Jermaine Brigitta, also known as the Caribbean housewife.
How's it tasting?
I'm missing something. Lime juice.
And this is cooking on intuition, huh?
Yeah. My strength is staying small and doing the niche. I'm not open every day, and that is actually the strength, because we're always full when we are open. And I don't have more costs, I only have the cost of that day, and I know exactly how many people are coming.
Cooperatives like this, founded on shared economies, offer entrepreneurs and chefs means to run food businesses without relying on a traditional restaurant model.
Is your relationship to Mexico at all? Or?
No, I just love the flavors, and they go really well with the wine.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, that's a good reason we are having Mexican food because of the wine.
Are you hungry?
It looks really, really good.
It's so good.
And these are Korean pepper flakes. He always wants a little bit more. So that's it.
Wow.
The jackfruit tostada.
So what does sustainability mean to you, and can you run a sustainable restaurant and still make money? Because it seems like some of the big restaurants are saying no, we can't.
For me, we need to start the conversation about being financially sustainable. Because if we are not solving this, we cannot look at any of the other aspects. We cannot push the system because there's not enough money in the business model. Then we ask people to work double or 3 times as much as they are paid for in order to get the business going. And this is, I think we can hear it when we say it out loud. Yeah. This cannot last forever. This is not a way to do a business.
It seems really unfair that it's small companies, entrepreneurs that has to teach the old system caretakers on how to move forward.
The quality that we want to give is very labor intensive. So I can't do that 7 days, 5 days a week.
No, and you cannot do it alone. So I agree, it's not fair at all, and communities are important for many reasons. But none of us could have done this without doing it together.
So this one is coconut. Purple yam.
It's very much about pushing for a new sustainable system, which of course is about the planet, but it's much more about the way we work together. So all my companies built on shareable economy, collaborative organizations, and are cooperative, which means that I don't have an ego-based interest in the financial bottom line, which gives me a whole other perspective to actually work together with people. Also means that in my world, competition doesn't exist. That's the most crazy thing I can say in this industry.
In an industry where 3 Michelin stars and world's best is the way everything is defined.
Yeah.
For an industry defined by rigidity and hierarchy, restaurants need to fundamentally change to become sustainable and put people first. In Copenhagen, I met incredible innovators who are challenging the status quo and presenting a new model forward for the future. And it seems that these answers are rooted in community. Despite the cold and the snow,
surviving,
I left Copenhagen feeling energized and optimistic about how this can all change. Restaurants might not come to an end, but they will be redefined. And that is the hope I'm taking with me.
Well, thank you so much for having us
Thank you.
at the space and at the dinner.
Thank you.
It's been one hell of a trip.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Peace out.